Let's not try to talk around it. There are 5 kinds of people that cannot reach their twin flame union or sustain it, which is some sort of the same, isn't it? 1. Egos. Egos can't reach union, and if they can, they cannot sustain it. It will fall apart. They will split again. And if they come together again, then they will split again. Because egos cannot stand the high vibration that is truly present at the core when you are genuinely in union with your true twin flame and genuinely connecting with each other in the union relationship. That is such a high vibration. It asks such a unconditional love of you that it cannot be sustained by egos. Egos can't stand it. They can't stand to be in union. They feel repelled by it. They feel that they have to run away now. That's the ego problem. That's the thing with egos and union. And don't think that it's them that has the ego. Most likely, you both do. That's because you're twin flames. That's what you're telling me. We're twin flames. So, if one portrays ego, the other does as well. And you have to get rid of that at the core level in the heart that you share. And you can. Because actually, when you fully live there, in that core that you share, and you've purified your entire life and personality, character, beingness, so that you can live there fully all the time, there is no ego there. So maybe we should say the truth of the matter is that when you are genuinely in harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, and you sustain that, and inside of that spiritual bubble that we're speaking of right now, you also start to build a person-to-person relationship inside of that, then there is no ego there. And everything that is still left of the ego will be worked out. It will be purified, come forward, show itself. You see that it doesn't fit indeed. You start to process that so that you'll be able to let that go out of the union to never return with the twin flame inner work, while keeping at it with them in that consciousness state that you sustain through your inner work. It must be worked out and leave forever after. And that's literally forever after. Also, when we talk about next lifetime and whatnot. Because it's the eternal core that we're talking about here. And you will work that out of that eternal core. Well, that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it works when we speak about a genuine twin flame connection, in harmonious twin flame union, keep on doing the inner work, moving forward towards their gold consciousness or perfect consciousness. Perfect, I don't know. Yeah, how did we say that? Perfect union? Gold is what I say. So, egos, yeah, they can't reach union or sustain it. And often, everything that we've done in our lives until now is feed the ego. Give the ego self-esteem, give the ego space, give the ego expression. Hoping that the world acknowledges the ego. Hoping that the world answers the ego, gives him or her what he wants. And we're playing into that. And all these things. Until now, we may have only gathered friends that play into our ego Our family may only know our ego. You may have only relationships that are ego relationships. You may have been brought up in this idea, and there is nothing outside of that, seemingly. You may have been educated in that idea at universities or wherever. So, and of course, we live in cultures that feed that ego all the time and continually ask the ego to start up again. Hey, can you start up again so that we can go to McDonald's, so that we can buy another, I don't know what. So, not that eating food is wrong or buying things that you need is wrong. Of course not. Just be normal, be grounded. But of course, our societies play into the ego. So that actually shows you that there is quite another way of living, and that's a festive fact. It really is a different kind of being that you are there. And it's a good one. It's a high vibrational one. Oh, a higher vibration than you ever would imagine. And much higher than all these people talk about it, that talk about, oh, law of attraction, high vibration. Nah. Most people do that from the ego out, which is actually a low vibration. So it just tells you that there's a whole new thing out there that you can open for yourself, a whole new way of life to integrate in you. And that's just a very beautiful fact. And yeah, people get to know sometimes as well when they work with me, then they think they know how the world works, you know. Oh, we know how the world works. We know how relationship works. Oh no, we know how coaching works. And then they just get deeper in a relationship with me, and some processes start to work on them. And then they get to know that I stand in a very different place than people think. They get to know that I stand in a very different inner spot than they expected, than they've ever known someone to stand. And that can sometimes for some people feel very strange, because they thought I was just like them. I was just an ego just like them, pandering to the world, making sure that you guys buy my stuff because I need your money, and all that kind of thoughts, which is absolutely not how I think. That's not where I stand. And people can be very surprised by that. And also feel, how do you say that? Not rejected by it, but like repelled, that's the word again. Repelled by it. Because it's so strange. Because almost no one stands there. But it is actually very normal and grounded. And you will go through that transformation as well. And then we're together there. Yeah. And it's not a sin to still have ego here and there. It's just a beautiful moment to learn that and let that go. Beautiful. Nothing wrong with it. But egos? No, they can't reach union. So that may be good to know. 2. Those that do not integrate money, they cannot reach union. I'm really sorry if you thought that you were entering a universe in which everything was for free. I can keep my wallet closed in my pocket because this is spirituality. We don't need to pay for it. That's what people think. And that's not true. Those that keep their wallet closed cannot reach union. Or they cannot sustain it. How many times have I seen people that got actually pretty deep because they got in connection with me and with the real work, and then they couldn't sustain it when they reached it? Union, even harmonious union. They could not sustain it because they did not want to open their wallet. And off they went with all their money in their pocket and no union, no harmonious union. It all flew away, just in a breeze, gone. Because they could not make it concrete for themselves. They did not value it. They did not anchor it into their concrete daily life experience. And how do you do that? Make it real. Oh yeah, that is a spiritual thing. Make the consciousness real for you now. But how is that represented on the physical level? With money, makes it concrete. How do you live your daily life? How do you buy your groceries? How do you make your food real? By buying the groceries, by opening your wallet. Give the money to the farmer that gives you eggs in return or something. Pumpkins. For pumpkin soup. Sounds good. That makes it real. And that's no different for true twin flame work. Because yes, it is in consciousness. And the consciousness is for free. And you can make it come true and real there. Fully true. But you also want to connect that with the physical. No matter if you turn it up and down, throw it left or right, doesn't matter. You want to make it real, isn't it? You want to have the relationship in a daily life way. With romance and candle-lit dinners and beautiful, beautiful aged red wines. Yeah, that's real. Costs money. So those that want to keep their wallet closed will have difficulty making it real. No matter how you turn it. No matter what you want to say back to me. But Petra, isn't that incredibly shallow? Yeah. The shallow is part of the depth too. The shallow is part of your alignment with the divine too. Your shallowness is part of your life with your twin flame too. Can't do it without it. So maybe you cannot see that in alignment with your soul, with your spirit where you're one with your twin flame in union, with the source of creation where you came from with your union core. But then you have to learn to align it with that. And that's how things start to work for you. Those that come here and closer to me personally, which is necessary to have harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, and they start to take from me for free. Well, you can do that. You can try that. Maybe you'll even have success, but you'll be an asshole. And it will not be sustainable for you. I promise you that. It won't be sustainable. Also, I will find out and remove you. Because we are trying to be normal here. That is because you want to be normal with your twin flame. It is very deep spiritually. And you can go in a huge ascension movement with it. But you want to live it in a normal way, just normally. Just having dinner. And that's why I also try to be as normal as it can be. With boundaries and all. 3. Those that think that detaching is the full teaching for twin flames cannot reach union or sustain it. I have heard since some time that there are a whole bunch of people out there that think that The full teaching, or approximately the full teaching, of twin flames is this: detach from them. Throw away all your pictures you have of them. Never talk to them again until they initiate it. Well, there is something to say for that, you know. There is. Certainly. Because your obsession and diving on top of them, yeah, can be sort of repelling for anyone. Think about it if it would happen to you. But it is not necessarily about the true twin flame. It says nothing about twin flames. It says nothing about spirituality. It only says something about psychology. We're trying to, with psychology, solve a spiritual question. But psychology is like a much smaller truth, a much smaller section of life. And spirituality is everything life, everything life. And you can't solve the everything life with a small portion of life. That's also how you, in general, know that you have a false twin flame teacher, that you heard that from. Because they only talk about psychology. Or when they talk about spirituality, it is only some sort of strange and fluffy and not grounded. Of course, when we talk about twin flame spirituality, there is a psychological component, because there always is. Because it's always like a part of life, isn't it? But it's not the whole life. Detaching can even sound very spiritual, like a Zen master. Oh, we're so Zen here. We're detaching from life, from food, from abstaining from all kinds of things. And these things can have a place in a spiritual path. Certainly, I know that. I've been the one that was not eating nor drinking water for 108 days. And that was a huge payment in spiritual sense, in which I placed my prayer, and I got the whole twin flame teaching as a result. Or lots of experiences that gave me the full acknowledgement of the twin flame teaching that I already had. That's better to say it like that. And I called that in via that. So I understand that these Zen kind of abstinence things can be something. But it's not the full teaching. And it also essentially tells you to not contact your twin flame, to not be busy with them. But that doesn't work, because in the key inner work that we do here, KEY, you will get to know, you will have to get to know what actually is going on between the both of you. You need that. You can't deny it nor push it away. You need that to put it into the key exercise made out of 4 steps, version 1 or version 2. You need that to put it in it so that your transformation comes out on the other end. And you need to connect with them and maybe communicate with them and maybe even be rejected by them, because it is important for you to feel and know what it is that is upsetting you, because that is the material that you put into the 4 steps of key, out of which comes the transformed you that can go to harmonious twin flame union. And that's the only way to go there. So if you are not allowed to connect with your twin flame whatsoever, you will never know what upsets you. You can never transform it, so that there will never be an outcome that you are able to go to your harmonious union, the consciousness state, through which you will be able to build your actual relationship inside of that when you're there. So that also doesn't work. And again, I already said this, but it also has nothing to do with knowing if it's your true twin flame. You might be talking about a non-twin flame whatsoever, but you think that by detaching, that something starts to work for you, and that somehow magically it's your twin flame because you do this detaching thing. It doesn't say anything about if it is your twin flame. It also doesn't call in the true twin flame in whatever kind of way. It doesn't connect you to your source, to the divine. That is your source through which you will have your true twin flame and your harmonious twin flame union, and you sustain it. It doesn't do anything there too. If it does anything, then you start to detach from your source and the divine as well. Well, that also doesn't work because you need to connect there. But most of all, it is a manipulation through which you think you can obtain the ultimate love relationship of divine perfection. Well, how does that sound? Is that logic? Is that any logic at all? No. Those that think that detaching is the full teaching cannot reach union nor sustain it. 4. Those that have a false twin flame and present a whole twin flame business online to you. These people cannot reach union or sustain it. There are a lot of them. They are with a false twin flame and present you videos in which they sit there together with another person, or on that side, I don't know which side, but there they're sitting, right? And they look so kind and they speak so softly. And it's so beautiful. And the landscape behind them is so beautiful. And it's so real, so raw. But it's not their twin flame. And they talk about twin flames as if they are. And they present you with a twin flame business with all kinds of paid elements. And you just go for it. Unknowingly of the fact that it's a complete fabrication. Complete fabrication. And it happens a lot. And I don't want that for you, because these people are not in union, but because they are bullshitting themselves and you as well, they cannot reach union because they're stuck in their illusion and they want to remain there. They want to keep it there. And they cannot sustain union because they don't have it. And should they by accident fall in a deep surrender in one of them on their own, having a week off on with themselves, there they go, surrendering. And then they come in the union in the heart and someone walks into their life. They will not be able to sustain that because they will just be completely confused and run back to where they came from. And their whole livelihood is connected to the lie that they are telling you. So they have lots of incentive not to tell you the truth and also to keep on lying to themselves. And they can't guide you to it because they don't know what they're doing. Because they don't have it themselves. Doesn't work. Logic. 5. Those that do not relate cannot reach union nor sustain it. You know, coming to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, that's really what you need to aim at. That's my advice, my strong advice. That's what you should aim at. And yet that you do with inner work, and you do the inner work, well, come closer to us, do what we offer. Come for, how do you say that? Phase yourself into a coaching relationship with me. Yeah, we'll work on that. It'll be okay. We have the techniques, the tools, the true thing. The energy hangs around here because I have it, so I can give it to you. You understand? That is a consciousness thing. And I want to bring you there, and I can. It happens all the time. People that really come closer to me, that follow me, that really do the thing, they will get there pretty soon. All the time. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. When someone comes closer, then there they go. And quickly too. But inside that, let's say bubble, the consciousness bubble that we create there, which is very much a basic that you do need, you can't do it without. In that consciousness bubble, you actually need to relate in there. You need to relate from person to person there. If you don't relate, but you do have that bubble, yeah, doesn't really work. You will fall out of it. And that bubble will also disintegrate after a while, because inside of that, person to person, on the physical human level, communicating, building, etc., it does not work. You're not relating. You're not communicating. You're not reciprocating. You're not seeing the other person. And that just is not congruent with the high vibration of that consciousness bubble. You need to have both. So you have, for instance, also people that are like, wow, this vibration is so high here. And they really get completely high on it, what I can give them. And then they're surprised that I need to sort of bring them down. Come on down, relate. What are you doing? And they're like, what? I was just drifting away on this cloud. Don't you understand how high it is here? But that's not the function of this. That's not the idea. The idea is that you need to have it together. You need to relate and be in that high vibration. And when that both meets, then you're going somewhere. If you don't really relate inside of it, you're going nowhere. Your union will not be truly reached, or if it is reached, it will disintegrate quickly because you cannot sustain it. And I hope this helped. Love from Petra.